form of fighting. There's a lot of different art forms. There's Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga, Kempo, Kung Fu, Karate, Renshinken Karate, Kickboxing, Greco-Roman Wrestling. All of these would be used in mixed martial arts in order to fight in a cage or a ring or anything like that. Traditional martial arts is usually a lot of padded or you're wearing a gi. They're all very demanding sports. None of them are easy. Capoeira was developed in order, it was a fighting style, but it was developed as a dance also to cover the fact that it was a fighting style. Capoeira isn't technically usually considered a martial art anymore, just because it's not widely used. But yeah.
How effective is martial arts in real combat?
Depending on which art you're using, arts such as jiu-jitsu are very useful because at some point you're going to end up on the ground, and that's to put your opponent down without physically injuring them.
Which martial art is the most effective? Which martial art do you think is the most effective?
Overall, having a mixture of a couple of different martial arts is the most effective. Not specifically sticking to one art form is kind of dangerous because if you like wrestling, if you can't get the guy to the ground, you're going to get beat up on the feet. And every fight starts on the feet, so you have to have a good stand.
I don't know your legs well. Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think I can actually fight a black belt master in any martial arts and win without any training?
Everybody has a puncher's chance, which is if you happen to get lucky and throw a lucky swing, then you might catch him and it might put him to sleep. But overall, a lot of time it's probably not going to happen.
Okay, so now the guys are going to show me some basic martial arts skills that I should use when I get to the ring.
I'm going to show you the Kimura submission. This would usually be on the ground, but we're on dirty floors, so I'd rather not get on the ground.
Yeah.
But basically, when you're in your opponent's guard and you're on top of them, what you do is you grab from the wrist and you wrap around here and you grab your own wrist and you straighten out their arm like that. Then the guillotine choke, that's usually when a guy is rushing in at you for like a takedown or something. Come in. The guillotine choke is you lock up here and you drop back and you hold your bicep right here and you crank back on the back of the head. The rear naked choke, which is if you have your opponent's back on the ground, all that does is just come out. All that would do is if you have your opponent's back is like this. You lock here and you push the back of the head and squeeze with your forearm. And you want your forearm under the chin. And those are chokes and arm submissions. Trying to think of.
What do you think is more effective in martial arts, the chokes or the fist fights and
submissions, chokes,
right?
arm locks, knee locks, anything, because your opponent, most of the time, if you get caught in one that's deep enough, you're not going anywhere. It's deep, you're going to go out or you're going to tap. Unfortunately, there are guys that do fight that pride gets in the way a lot of the time, and there was a time Nogueira in one of his fights with Frank Mir went to the ground. Frank Mir had him in a very, very deep Kimura, the one that I showed, and pride got in the way and he would not tap, and he actually broke the humerus right here. That's more of a shoulder submission. It's supposed to tear the ligaments in the shoulder if they don't tap, but I guess his shoulder was stronger than the actual humerus bone, and the humerus snapped all the way through. And he was out for about 7 or 8 months where he couldn't even train because it snapped the bone all the way through.
So are you saying that if I get into the ring, I should remove all pride and go with him? Like, what do you think? Like, if I go into the ring angry and brawl and all that, what do you think?
Emotion gets a lot of guys in trouble because you're not concentrating. You're letting yourself get too out of control. You make a lot of mistakes when you're using a lot of emotion. In fighting, it's best to keep a calm head and really go at it as a sport or as a skill, not to fight with emotion.
So do you know any body hits, like fist fights? Like, do you know the parts of the body? If I want to make someone get unconscious or knock him out? How do I do that? Do you know the particular parts of the body I could attack?
Muay Thai is always good. Muay Thai is a good striking base to have due to it teaches you that you don't just have hands and feet. They teach you that you have eight body parts to use. You have your elbows, you have 2 elbows, 2 fists, 2 knees, and 2 feet.
Yeah.
So you have 8 uses. Muay Thai concentrates a lot on kicks and knees mostly. They have what's called the plum clinch, and that is when you're grabbing the opponent by the back of the head here, and you're locking your fingers. That way you can pull their head to your knees. Yeah. And even in that clinch, you have the half tie clinch where you're still holding on with one hand and you can throw elbows. Even if you're in close, if you're in the person's guard up close, you can still throw elbows. Even though he's taller than me, I can still land an elbow to his chin. And fighting with the elbows, you have a very sharp point. No matter what your elbow looks like, it always has a sharp point. Yeah. And it's harder than hitting with your fist, and less of a chance of breaking your hands too.
Yeah, because
a lot
I noticed
of guys make the mistake of punching, and their opponent will actually lower their forehead, and if you hit the forehead, a lot of the time you break bones.
I have had that experience so many times. Like my hands swell up, my fists swell up because I'm always punching the forehead. Yeah. So.
Also, you gotta remember a lot of guys, a lot of amateur fighters like to fight with their thumb in their hand.
That's a quick way to break it.
Always keep it outside of your hand. Thumb's broken.
And luckily with the way mixed martial arts works, the gloves, they're actually trying to change it. They don't use traditional boxing gloves since you have to grapple. The gloves only come to about half the finger. That way you can still grab. Yeah. But with the glove, it really doesn't allow you to put your thumb under, luckily. But with boxing, some guys will still do that. And yeah, he's right. You can break a lot of pieces in your hand. And a hand is really hard to heal because the bones are already small. So when they break, it's really hard to fix it.
They take a long time to heal because that's a daily use.
Yep. Yeah, you can't help but use your hand no matter what.
So do you have any advice for me, like being an amateur? I don't have any professional training, but I can brawl. I could do a bit of wrestling. Do you have any advice for me going to challenge like a professional martial artist?
Keep your guard up. Make sure you're covered at all times. Keep your chin tucked. Don't leave your mouth open. Guys will make the mistake as they get tired. They'll start to fight with their mouth open a little bit. And if you get caught on that button, you're probably going to go to sleep.
Okay.
Keep your teeth closed.
Thank you. So you spoke about the chin right now, the side of your face. So is that a point, like if I hit someone at the side of the face, does that mean I should knock them out?
If their mouth is open, then yeah, absolutely. What happens is there's a spot, like a lot of people call it the sweet spot or the button. It's right on the end of the chin usually, like right in this area. And I mean, it's a quick way to break somebody's jaw, and it's a quick way to put somebody to sleep. But I mean, you can actually get knocked out getting hit in the belly. I mean, it happens. There's flash knockouts where guys have been hit right to the liver with a hook or something, and it'll actually put you to sleep because the pain just shocks your body so quickly that you go out, you lose consciousness.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll use this in my future battle with the master. Thank you so much, Keegan. This is Keegan, and this is Darian. I really appreciate it. Right. Thanks, guys. Okay. So do you have any advice for me, like being an amateur? I don't have any professional training, but I can brawl. I could do a bit of wrestling. Do you have any advice for me going to challenge like a professional martial artist?
Keep your guard up. Make sure you're covered at all times. Keep your chin tucked. Don't leave your mouth open. Guys will make the mistake as they get tired. They'll start to fight with their mouth open a little bit. And if you get caught on that button, you're probably going to go to sleep.
Okay.
Keep your teeth closed.
Thank you. So you spoke about the chin right now, the side of your face. So is that a point, like if I hit someone at the side of the face, does that mean I should knock them out?
If their mouth is open, then yeah, absolutely. What happens is there's a spot, like a lot of people call it the sweet spot or the button. It's right on the end of the chin usually, like right in this area. And I mean, it's a quick way to break somebody's jaw, and it's a quick way to put somebody to sleep. But But I mean, you can actually get knocked out getting hit in the belly. I mean, it happens. There's flash knockouts where guys have been hit right to the liver with a hook or something, and it'll actually put you to sleep because the pain just shocks your body so quickly that you go out, you lose consciousness.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll use this in my future battle with the master. Thank you so much, Keegan. This is Keegan, and this is Darian. I really appreciate it. Right. Thanks, guys.
Samuel, why are you smoking tobacco? Why do you smoke tobacco before you train?
In ancient China, I don't know, I've seen it in some movies, people actually smoke tobacco to calm their nerves down. And I believe in that. I believe in being calm before a fight and before our training.
DJ Envy! MVP!
It's dark and hell is hot.
New DMX!
Ain't no sunshine in this.
Score ain't no sunshine!
Only darkness every day.
54, 55.
Ain't no sunshine
Dress up,
when it's on.
wonderful.
'Cause when it's on, you niggas know that we gone every time. Cause we don't play.
Bam! Stonewall!
Who turn out the lights is what niggas be saying. Now you don't wanna fight, but y'all niggas be playing. Thinking it's alright, keep playing with that bow. And you gon' know tonight, you be laying in that hole. Dirt getting tossed in your grave. Now it's all over. Preacher said you was brave, but now it's all over. You just one of the many, plenty I done gave it to. Ain't no saving you. No matter how many tears your mom's cry. Ain't gon' bring your ass back, plus in hell you gon' fry.
So Samuel, Daniel, how long have you been fighting?
Man, I've been fighting since I was 11 years old, and it was always to defend myself, and that's why I just like to go into challenges and all